Then the husband straight up says, something's off about this situation.
Yeah, go
And
figure.
Gail, in her ignored wife stance, is all like, they're fine. Why? Because
Yeah.
they were flirting with her. And she's
Because the guy was
giggling.
flirting with him. You
She
bitch.
literally calls her husband my son's father.
Oh yeah, I'd
It's
be like,
Rourke's father. And I was like, oh,
I'd be like on the phone and getting one of those private charters
fuck yeah. I'd be like,
to
bring out
fly
the
in.
copter. I am done
See
with
ya.
this bitch.
Lights, camera, and action. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared.
Damn!
And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
And we are going to move on to the next movie of our double feature. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. This is for the podcast part because if you're listening to this, it's broken up to two. But if you're watching live on Friday during our YouTube recording every Friday at 7, this is a double feature. Oh, for the love of fuck. We are still in the 90s for our double feature at the drive-in, and we are going to 1994 to watch a movie that I remember really liking, but have not seen in a long time, The River Wild with Meryl Streep.
Yes. I had forgotten this movie existed until you mentioned it. And then you mentioned, I was like, The River Wild, what? And then you mentioned Meryl Streep, and I was like, wait a second. I've watched this movie.
Yeah.
I remember really liking it, but for some reason in my head, I thought it was a TV movie, like a movie of the week.
No.
I didn't realize it was like in theaters. And I was like, damn. Because I must have been, well, it came out in 94. So I probably saw it in 96. Probably, yeah. I remember really liking it.
Yeah, I remember really liking it too. I remember it's pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Action / thriller. But yeah, I remember liking it. And I remember Kevin Bacon. I remember John C. Reilly. Someone else I can't remember. But yeah,
this movie is one of the reasons why I will not go whitewater rafting. One of them.
Yeah. The main reason for me is it looks like a lot of work.
Fuck
Like a lot of work.
There's a lot of paddling and trying to stay in the boat and then bouncing, and then you got to carry your shit. I've already portaged once with a canoe. It was more than enough. I don't need to do it with a fucking whitewater raft, inflatable raft thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah, it doesn't look relaxing at all.
Some people really enjoy it. And I tell people all the time, I'll meet you wherever you dock. We'll have a glass of wine, maybe a charcuterie board, and then you can keep whitewater rafting. I'm going to go back to civilization.
All right, well, let's take a look at the box office. Ooh.
So fancy.
With a budget of $45 million, The River Wild had a domestic haul of $46.8 million and an international of $47.4 for a worldwide of $94.2 million. So it seems very expensive for just a river movie, but Meryl Streep, I'm sure.
Well, Meryl Streep, Kevin Bacon, those are two very big names, especially in the 90s. And it had a really good cast, and you've got to, like, most of this is going to be on location. So a lot of the budget's going to go to trailers, craft services, catering, insurance, like, God. The production manager in me is losing her mind. She's like, oh my God, there's so much to plan. What's the bathroom situation?
You're outdoors. There's a tree.
The fuck you say?
There's bushes over
You are
there.
not making Meryl Streep cop a squat in a
Yeah.
bush, okay?
Here's some toilet paper and a shovel, Meryl Streep. Oh, wait.
That's not this.
That's not this. Wrong driving. Yeah, there wasn't really much. Let me just double check. Yeah, no, there wasn't. So it made some money.
Yeah.
It just wasn't.
It wasn't a blockbuster.
No.
Which is probably why I thought it was a TV movie as opposed to like a theatrical release.
This definitely was probably a blockbuster rental. This was probably maybe even TV. I don't know. Maybe when it came out on HBO or Showtime or something. I'm not sure, but I did not go to the theaters and see this movie.
Oh no, neither did I. But I mean, I think it's the idea of Meryl Streep in what looks like an action movie.
Yes.
That confused people.
Yeah, she's not known as an action.
Yeah.
No.
But I remember her doing really well in this.
I remember liking it, so she must have did okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the tail of the tape. Woo! So September 30th, 1987.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait a minute. That's not right. That was 1994. My apologies. It is considered just an action. And that's what I got from Rotten Tomatoes. But there's a bit of mystery and thriller, whatever, in there but it's rated PG-13 and comes in at 1 hour and 51 minutes. So there's a lot of river rafting here.
Yeah. And a lot of, I remember running through the forest. So I can't wait to see if that was accurate. If there was a lot of running through the forest.
And it was directed by Curtis Hanson, who also did, I believe, LA Confidential, 8 Mile.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a good
also
director.
Hand That Rocks the Cradle.
Hand That Rocks the Cradle, yep.
I remember that movie fucking me up.
Stars Meryl Streep, Kevin Bacon, and that's it. David
Strathairn?
Yeah. And John C. Reilly as well.
Yes.
I remember him being in there. Taglines. The vacation is over.
It's the obvious one.
Yeah. That's it.
Well, no wonder. Nobody put any money into marketing this movie.
Oh, do I not have a... I think when my, whatchamacallit, blacked out or the thing...
It just everything?
It just screwed up my thing. That is all right. So, River Wild... So I will just say the synopsis. This is where I get it from. Fast-paced thriller. See, it's considered action. A fast-paced thriller in which a young family on a whitewater rafting adventure in Montana are taken hostage by a pair of dangerous fugitives. The rafting holiday, a birthday gift for the New England couple's 10-year-old son, turns into a nightmare when 2 armed killers take control and try to force the mother, a proficient rafter, to use her skills to help them escape down the treacherous rapids.
Yes.
So, and here is the movie poster from the director of Hand That Rocks the Cradle up top. Meryl Streep, Kevin Bacon, David Strathairn. Sure. The vacation is over. And then it's a blurry picture of them on the raft with the water exploding behind them, the River Wild, and then all the credit stuff at the bottom. That's the right poster.
It's good.
Yeah.
You get the gist of it. They're on a very rapid river.
All right, so let's go to Rotten Tomatoes. 40 critics give this, comes in at 63%.
Okay.
25,000 plus audience comes in at 52%.
Huh.
So
interesting.
Let's start with the positive, and you may begin.
I'm ready. This is the movies and director Curtis Hanson throws so much water at us that we are too enjoyably discomposed to think anyway. Nigel Andrews, Financial Times, original score not available. That feels like word salad.
like me when I do my reviews.
Nigel.
The sympathetic characters are likable. The chief villain, someone you hope to see blown away. The stunt work on the rapids is terrific. Philip French, Observer UK. No original score.
See, that's the kind of review I like.
Yeah.
It looks like an action movie, sounds like an action movie, but there's a lot more going on here. Oz, Hollywood Bitch Slap, original score 4 out of 5.
The perfect high old time for audience in the mood to be tossed into the spin cycle for a pulse-pounding thrill ride. Peter Travers, Rolling Stones. There is no original score.
I feel like Peter used to work in advertising before this, and his job was to write like jingles and stuff. I'm just saying. The film is energetically directed by Curtis Hanson, and it's certainly a refreshing change to see an action heroine at the helm, bossing all the men about. Sheila Johnston, Independent UK, no original score.
Yeah, you should come to 2024.
Yeah.
That's the only movies they make is women bossing men around.
It's not Hollywood's fault that they finally realized how the world works. I'm just saying.
Well, just overcompensating. Where's Burt Reynolds?
Okay.
Let's go to the rotten. Streep never looks truly comfortable in the role, lacking the presence of Sigourney Weaver or Gina Davis. Ooh, meow. James Crute, stuff.co.nz. Whatever. Real score 2.5 out of 5.
That's because James Crute is coming to us from New Zealand. That's the website.
I do understand what he's saying. Like you said, it is a different role for Meryl Streep. But like I said, I remember liking it, so she couldn't have been that bad. It was 1994. I could be completely wrong.
I remember her being really good, but I was also not that deep in my Meryl era yet. Like when you've watched a few Meryl Streep movies, there's a certain persona that you kind of attach to her. So looking back, I can be like, this doesn't feel like a Meryl Streep project.
Yeah. I have never been in a Meryl Streep era.
You should be.
I never want to be in a Meryl Streep era.
Go get yourself in a Meryl Streep era. I'm telling you right now, everybody needs a Meryl Streep era.
I only watch Meryl Streep movies if she's in a movie where there's other people attached to it. I'm not saying she can't act. She can definitely act.
She's never done a movie by herself.
Exactly. Ugh. That'd be funny.
Honestly, she'd kill it.
Wait, did I say that?
That was you. Yeah.
That was me.
Okay. Terrible suspense movie, predictable and no action until the end. Fred Topple, about.com, original score 1 out of 5. Damn.
1 out of 5. Ouch.
So mean.
Streep's role is ridiculous, and the scenes depicting her marital crisis play like a hokey prelude to the inevitable reconciliation. Spoiler alert, Stephen Farber, movie line, no original score.
So. Isn't that always what happens though in these movies?
Pretty
like
much.
The couple's fighting, and by the end, you know they're going to get back together. So, I mean, why are you mad about it? That's what it is. Anyways, constructed from so many ideas, characters, and situations recycled from other movies that all the way down the river, I kept thinking, been there, done that. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, original score 2 out of 4. Okay, Roger, look, I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job, but I don't know if you've watched many movies. They're basically just all regurgitations of stuff that's already been done.
I was going to say, how many river rafting movies have you seen? Actually,
aren't there a few?
There's quite a in the 80s. There were quite a few, and the 90s, I guess. But in the 80s, I know there were quite a few. Kevin Bacon was in a couple more other than this one.
Kevin Bacon's been in everything.
Up the creek, and then he was in one where he takes those kids out and almost gets them all killed on a river. I don't know what they're called. What it was called.
I'm totally looking up river rafting movies. Whitewater Summer, is that the one that had the kids?
Could be. Yep.
There was also The River Runner, River Wild, White Mile. That was from 1994 as well. Alan Alda's in that one. River Wild was 2023. Never mind on that one.
That's a remake of this. Same writer that did this one. Yeah.
Interesting. Have I watched that one? I may have. Anyways, this is 87 was Whitewater Summer. The things I'm looking up. Anyways, go on.
IMDb. 51,000 user ratings, comes in at 6.5.
Okay.
You may start.
A Family's Wild Ride Down the River, 10 out of 10. Floating Opera, 7.
Mm-hmm. Exciting and fun, well worth watching, 9 out of 10. Blat 2319-1.
Underrated action thriller, 8 out of 10. Neil 476.
Deliverance meets Hand That Rocks a Cradle, 7 out of 10. Lee Eisenberg. Lee, I don't think you understand or Deliverance. I mean, sure, maybe there's a river in it, but
I was gonna say maybe because there's a river that they ride in a raft, and then he's like, of course.
I don't think Kevin Bacon's asking anyone to squeal like a pig. Or saying that someone has a real purty mouth.
I don't think he says the pretty mouth thing.
I don't think I ever want to watch. I've seen Deliverance. I don't think I want to watch it again. It's one of those ones where good to watch once, but maybe not. Actually, it could be funny.
Like I've watched it, but I also feel like I'm actively blocking it from my mind.
Probably for a reason.
Yeah. Not the most exciting movie due to its restrained concept and settings, but a well-made movie nevertheless. 6 out of 10. Boba Fett, 1138.
So much better if Streep were not in it. 5 out of 10. Blue Max -4.
He's just saying the quiet part out loud. Not even the estimable Meryl Streep can save this waterlogged thriller. 4 out of 10. Smack.
It's one. There's only 2 to choose from. So 1 because of Meryl Streep, and 1 Meryl Streep can't even save it.
Damn.
Be prepared to shake your head at the stupidity. So just sit back and enjoy the scenery. 3 out of 10. Beach rocks.
So honest. Dreadful waste of fine scenery and a fine actor. 2 out of 10. Benny Zed.
I would probably guess they're talking about Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
I ranked this a 1. I'd have given it a 2 if the dog had got shot in the face. 1 out of 10. Francis H. Hooks. Oh, there was only 2 to choose from, and I chose this one.
Oh, Jimmy.
All right. All right, so we have taken a look at the box office, the tagline, synopsis, and even the reviews. So let's take a look at, I got to bring it up, the trailer for River Wild, and then make our predictions.
Yar.
People don't do the gauntlet anymore.
Have you ever done it?
Oh, yeah. Listen, I ran the gauntlet once when I was 18 and completely insane. But I was with 2 other guides, experienced guides, and we were just lucky. But there were 2 other people that summer who did not get so lucky. One guy got killed, and the other is paralyzed for life. But don't worry, we're going to hit some 3s and 4 pluses. You're going to scream your guts out. You'll love it. We are going to risk death a number of times on this trip.
I understand why this movie didn't make any money, if that's how they were promoting it.
Yeah, that is the weirdest.
It's a terrible trailer.
So you're taking your 10-year-old son and you're telling him about the story when you did it, There were two other people with you. One died and the other became paralyzed.
No. That's not the story. The story is she had two very, very experienced guides with her when
Yes.
she did it, but two other people that summer. One died,
Oh,
one's
okay.
paralyzed for the rest of his life. So two other people tried it, and one's dead. And don't worry,
Yeah.
we're gonna cheat death a couple times on this trip. We're gonna meet death a couple times.
And you're gonna be screaming.
For a kid like that.
I would have been screaming once she told me that fucking story. What the fuck? I don't want to go.
But like, you see the story and it's beautiful scenery. I also see where part of the money went because the cinematography looks amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, great. But I'm sitting there going, you're not giving me anything other than you telling this story about those two sad people who died.
Yeah.
Or one died, one's paralyzed. That's what I got out of that trailer.
That was a shit trailer.
That
I mean,
was
the
so
other
shit.
part where it's all cut with them fighting and going over the
Yeah.
rapids, that was fine. But that beginning, who came up with that idea?
And the music was so
Yeah.
like 1970s sci-fi fight scene, you know?
What's your prediction?
Well, if we're going off the trailer, I don't think I'm gonna like it. However, if we're going off of my memory, I think I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, if we're going after the last 30 seconds of the trailer, it looks good. Looks like just a standard thriller. You know what's gonna happen. You know what's happening. But as long as it's exciting and looks good, yeah. Yeah, I hope I still like it.
I hope I still like it too. Like, I love Meryl Streep, and I remember her being good because I think she's like, her job is not a guide, if I'm correct, like a rafting guide. I don't think that's her like full-time job, like what she does. I think she's, I don't know, some kind of office jockey. So it makes sense that she's kind of out of place. I can't wait to watch it because then I'm kind
of curious now. All right.
Me too.
All right, well, we're going to go watch The River Wild, and when we come back, we are going to watch review our second feature of our drive-in special. Yay!
Woo!
All right. Yeah, that was horrible.
That was terrible. Now I understand why nobody went to watch it.
Yeah, that's a bad trailer. Horrible.
One of the shittiest trailers I've ever seen in my life.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And now, on with the show.
Yay!
Ooh.
So, did you watch 1994's The River Wild?
I did.
What are your thoughts?
I'm conflicted. Overall, it wasn't bad. I do think the Meryl Streep casting was off.
Yeah.
It just
Stupid Meryl.
Honestly, it kind of felt like someone who should have been in like the upstairs of Downton Abbey. I did not buy her as a girl who grew up whitewater rafting and was a guide and grew up like in the wilds in a rural area. I did not buy that.
No.
But the movie itself, and I mean, Kevin Bacon did a great job.
Yep.
But it was kind of not meh, but not great either.
Right.
Your thoughts?
On paper, this is a very run-of-the-mill average thriller, but two things elevate it, like the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Meryl Streep, I agree, but she is passable in this one.
Yes.
Like, there are a bunch of things she does, says, and how you're going like,
yeah.
But everyone, the ranger or the river police, Benjamin Bratt,
Johnny.
Frank, the guy you don't really see is William Lucking. Maybe best known as Piney from the Sons of Anarchy.
Mm-hmm.
That cop at the end asking the kid the most ridiculous questions. Glenn Morshower, who usually plays a army dude, some sort of authority figure. He was in like 24 Bloodline, Transformer movies, and he's always a cop or an army guy. Like if you go through his IMDb, General, Sergeant, Lieutenant, Colonel. He does video game voices, and yes, you guessed it. He's an army dude. He does voices for Call of Duty. But stellar cast from top to bottom.
Oh yeah, no, the cast was amazing,
and the cinematography,
gorgeous.
Like I watched this on my big Amazon TV, and yeah, it was really beautiful to look at.
Yeah, man.
Like it was well directed. It was shot almost perfect. I did notice a few stunt people. Some of the scenes.
For me, there was some timing issues for lighting. Don't get me wrong. Some of the lighting ended up just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
But I was like, 3 seconds ago, it was not sunset.
No.
Now it's sunset.
Yeah.
And you're having the same conversation. I don't understand. So, I mean, there was something, but absolutely stunning. Like really great shots, really great camera positions. You know, I was very happy with the visuals.
Yeah. Other than seeing the odd stunt, man, but like I wouldn't have done those river runs. They'd be like, Jimmy, river scene. I'm like, I don't think so. And my agent would come in on a helicopter like Matthew McConaughey in Tropic Thunder.
Oh God.
All right, let's go over this movie.
Yeah,
unlike The Sandlot, there's not a lot here for the River Wild.
Well, I mean,
it's
a very straightforward movie.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to it, which is weird because it's almost a 2-hour movie. Okay. A Boston couple, Gail and Tom Hartman, are having marital problems, mostly due to Tom. Of course, that's just blame the guy.
Is it really mostly due to Tom?
No, I think it's her.
I think it's both of them.
And their kid. Whiny little bitch. Tom, an architect spending so much time working, Gail, a history teacher and former river guide, is taking their son, Rourke, on a rafting trip down the Salmon River in Idaho, along with their dog, Maggie. Talk about your white privilege. Jesus, this opening, her going down the river and the beautiful town. And
she's rowing. So I was like, okay, so that's definitely Upper East Coast.
That fucking apartment.
Oh my God, it was. Were they living in a full brownstone? That's the question. Because she says go to the downstairs bedroom.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And I was like, and your dad's running shoes should be under the bed. I was like, oh, separate rooms.
Yeah.
Is that what's happening here? Because she has the suitcase on a bed that she's packing, and I was like, oh, separate rooms. I get it. But I was like, okay, it was very, very nice. I'm sure they live in a great neighborhood.
Yeah.
And she's a teacher at a school for the deaf, which we find out later, which I was like, okay, which makes sense. But they set it up so that it's very clear. She's super excited about going on this trip. Her son is super excited. The daughter is super excited that they're going, and she doesn't go. And then the husband comes in and he's all like,
oh yeah, the fucking river rafting trip.
Already prompted with Gail and Rourke. Is he even going to come? And of course your dad's going to come. Of course he's going to come. And then fucking Tom walks in and he's like, well, guys, there's a project.
Yeah. Can we talk alone?
Yeah. Can we talk alone? Oh God, you're doing it again.
Their daughter, Willa, is staying behind with Gail's parents in Idaho. Tom, who had remained in Boston, unexpectedly joins them at the last minute. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Private charter for her and the kids. The dad shows up, took 3 planes to get there.
Yeah. One of those was a private charter.
Typical white woman. Wants all the benefits, cries foul when she sees how the sausages are made. Well, he has to work to provide. Like, that's a pretty...
He can take a fucking vacation. Now, where I fault her with this is I don't think she communicates in a constructive way.
No.
But she does get kind of pouty and is all like, can you just be present? And he's like, do you like the private planes?
Yeah. Yeah. Because, like, she's a school teacher, and I don't know how much her salary pays, but not for
I
that
mean, it
apartment.
depends on what school she's teaching in. If it's
Not
a
for
private school, she's making a little more.
Oh, maybe yeah, she's making, but
Yeah, but is it?
yeah, and no, it's a hard luck life.
Yeah.
And then she's on a private charter plane going to Idaho to river raft.
No, so she's packing an actual like suitcase, and I'm like,
Yeah,
with your clothes, you're about to get on a raft.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Track pants and a t-shirt. As they're setting off, they meet 3 other rafters, Wade, Terry, and Frank, who appear to be friendly. Oh, well done, Wikipedia. Okay, they meet Wade.
Yes.
Actually seems like a cool dude. Like, I'd hang out with him.
He seems kind of cool.
They do drop subtle hints that he's off.
Yeah. But also they keep like he
Or a bit of a
mentions
rascal.
Frank, who you can very obviously see is injured.
Yes.
He buys a first aid kit and he's like, no, it's cool. I don't mind if it's missing a few band-aids. Just I need the first aid kit. It's fine. What?
I just need some gauze to shove in some bullet holes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he talks to the kid about Jane's addiction, Lollapalooza. And we do get that glimpse of Terry and Frank. And again, with the talking, we get a little of an idea of how the river works and how the rafting works by the stuff that they're doing. And I will say this, the beginning of the trailer is around here. Like when she's talking to her son about, and they use it in the trailer. Much better here in the actual movie. Because the kid is asking mom about the river and the gauntlet, and she tells him, and then he says, "Are we going to go down the gauntlet?" And he's bummed, and she's like, 2 rafters weren't so lucky, and goes through the whole thing. Then playfully and sarcastically says, You'll scream your head off. We got 3s and 4s. We'll face danger. That's not what the trailer sounded like at all.
No, it sounded like it was all just like the gauntlet. Terrible things happened, but don't worry, we're gonna face death. Yeah. And it was like, no, there's other stuff in between that makes we're gonna face death make more sense to the kid, because the kid's all like, can we do the gauntlet? Like super excited.
Yeah.
And mom's like, how about no? This is how dangerous the gauntlet is. Don't worry, you'll have enough danger that we can survive.
Yes.
But it'll scare you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, much better this way. Yeah, their trailer person sucked. Probably an executive. Yeah. The Hartmans catch up with the trio during a daybreak and notice that Frank is no longer with Wade and Terry. There are some stuff that happens in this. I believe they're fishing. The dad's doing his sketch thing and not really. And then she's like, "Do you want to be like?" I think that's.
You want to come over here?
Yeah, and he's like, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
He does not say that.
Like he's there.
Like, no, he's there, but he's not there.
But he's not there.
He's like
working trying
up to the side. He's trying. He's giving it a shot. Like he's like, I can go and I can work. Because she says, "What about the Shades Project or whatever the name is?" And he's like, "I brought it with me." And he holds up a briefcase.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're going to take that on a raft? Whitewater rafting? Sir. I don't think that's the smartest idea.
And the son's a little lippy.
That kid is obnoxious.
Yeah, he was pretty obnoxious.
And I get it. Like your parents have a very unhappy marriage and you want your dad to just hang out with you all the time. I'm like, I get it. But at the same time, he also kind of almost imprints on Wade. Like all of a sudden he's like, Wade's so cool.
Yeah.
Listens to the same music as me. He got to see Jane's addiction. Like Wayne is cool or Wade is cool. Dad's not cool. He draws.
Yeah. Okay, so where are we here? They explain that Frank hiked out after an argument. Unfortunately, he was their guide, and Wade and Terry lack any rafting experience. Okay, let's be clear. This is not a whodunit. There's no big mystery here. Like I do love like Knives Out, or what was that one? A Perfect Getaway with Chris Hemsworth and Steve Zahn, Mila Jovovich, and the Sandlot girl was in that movie. Yeah. We should watch that. Now I want to watch that movie. But there's no mystery here, nor does the movie try to be like that. It knows It tries to be convincing to the characters while increasing doubt among the heroes as the movie's going along.
They drop enough hints with Wade, Terry, and Frank that you're like, something's off about that situation. Then the husband straight up says, something's off about this situation.
Yeah.
And Gail, in her ignored wife stance is all like, they're fine. Why? Because they were flirting with her. And she's
Because the guy was
giggling.
flirting with her. You
She
bitch.
literally calls her husband my son's father.
Oh, yeah. I'd be
It's
like,
Rourke's father. And I was like, oh,
I'd be like on the phone and getting one of those private charters.
fuck yeah. I'd be like,
To
bring out
fly
the
in
copter. I am done
See
with
ya.
this bitch. I'm like, how are you going to do that? How are you going in a boat with your husband,
Yeah.
who is also your son's father? You're just going to call him that's Rourke's dad. And my husband. That's the end of the sentence. Are you trying to sleep with Wade with your husband on this trip? I did not like that.
Yeah. It was a little weird.
It was. It was. That was pure. I'm going to keep flirting with this guy.
Gail offers to guide them down the rest of the river. Before getting back on the water, Maggie wanders off and becomes curious about something in the brush farther up the canyon. Tom fetches her before she uncovers it, and they return to the raft. Wonder if that was Frank.
It totally was.
Yeah. After a day's rafting, they make camp for the night, but Tom continues working on his architectural project, disappointing Rourke, who feels neglected. They are joined by Wade and Terry, who help celebrate Rourke's birthday that night. After Wade begins acting suspiciously, Gail agrees with Tom that they should part ways with him and Terry. Oh, don't listen to your husband, he said a while back, but it takes Wade just staring at her at the hot springs.
Well, no, the first thing that kind of made her go, huh, odd, is when Wade walks over and hands the kid 200 crisp.
Oh yeah, the $200
dollars, like 200 crisp, like $100 crisp $100 bills, rolled up like he's about to snort some cocaine in a piece of like driftwood. What the fuck? So he hands it to him and he's like $200, and first the dad's like, that's too much. Yeah. Now, if you were a normal person, you'd be like, oh, I'm sorry, I do want to get him something. Can I give him $50? Or, just not hand someone, $200, a kid that you just met. And then the mom's like, okay, that was a little weird. We'll just separate from them tomorrow. It'll be fine. Or we'll take them to, what is it? Bridals, something.
Oh, yeah. Bridals Creek.
Yeah. So she's like, we'll take them to there and we'll drop them there. Whatever. Or we'll separate from them tomorrow. And then it takes, when it starts raining, because her and her husband have an honest conversation where he's like, I work super hard. And she's like, it's like you don't want to spend time with me. And he's like, I have to work. You put all these expectations on me and I'm trying to meet them. And she immediately folds and says, oh no, I'm so sorry. I never meant to make you feel that way. And then she suggests they have sex. I'm like, I know why your marriage is in crumbles.
Yeah, you're a lunatic.
This is not how you resolve conflict.
That's not a bad way to resolve conflict.
Yes,
Could be worse ways.
They did not work through any problems. She says, you work all the time. He says, because you expect me to. And she says, I'm sorry I made you feel that way. Let's have sex. What? Or he says, let's have sex. One of them suggests having sex. I can't even remember who it is right now.
I think it was her, and she got mad and went and got naked in the hot springs.
No, because she says, I'm going to go bathe. Because he says, I'm going to put Rourke to bed. And she says, I'm going to go bathe. And I'm like, why is that? Mind you, on a camping trip, that is like super sexy when someone's like, I'm going to go bathe. You're like, yes, I'm getting some.
Yeah, you stink. Go bathe.
So she gets naked. She gets into the river. And then it starts raining. There's some lightning. And then there's creepy Wade standing there just staring at her. She doesn't say anything. She just stares right back.
Yeah.
He keeps staring. She keeps staring. And then he walks away. And that's it. And then after that, she's like, we need to leave. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Way to rush that. Because you were all giggling at him like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. All over, draped all over him, teaching him how to fly fish.
Right.
With his shirt off. Meryl Streep's such a whore.
Calm yourself. Was she flirting? Yes. Was she basking in the attention that a single, arguably good-looking man was giving her, who's younger than her husband? Yes. Is it the mature thing to do? No.
You just backed up my whore comment. I thought you were going to disagree.
She was flirting with him. She wasn't trading sex for money. So technically she's not a whore.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Their plans are upended when Wade and Terry shove off first with Rourke aboard their raft. Wade, showing off to Rourke, reveals they have a gun. During a rest stop, Gail and Tom attempt to take off with Rourke before Wade and Terry notice. That fails, and Wade pulls a gun on Tom. As they struggle, Maggie runs off into the bushes because this is after Wade smacks Tom around and then says he's going to shoot one of them, and he's going to shoot Tom or the dog. He says the dog, and the dog takes off. That's because they yell at it to run.
Yeah, Rourke runs in front of the dog and makes the dog run. But also Rourke was a little bitch because you're getting into the boat with the two people who don't know how to fucking raft rather than your mother who's the guide. Why? Because they made you give back the $200 that the perfect stranger. This kid was not taught stranger danger. Okay?
No.
When a man you just met hands you $200, you don't get into a raft with him.
If you do the math, I think this kid's a millennial. Gail then realizes that Wade and Terry committed a recently reported robbery and have killed Frank, who was wounded during the robbery and slowing them down. Yeah, Columbo over here. We didn't even get because before this they run into Ranger Johnny.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they do.
They run into Ranger Johnny when they all get back in the boat, so they're all tied up. And then they stop because.
Oh no, I meant before this when he first meets Johnny, and he's like, "You don't remember me?" And
yeah.
Oh, and she goes, "Yeah, I used to hang out with my brother." And
right, it's right after they got rid of the dog.
Yeah,
with the one shot. Johnny comes over on his kayak, and before this, for Rourke's birthday, he got a waterproof camera from his sister, in quotes. So he takes pictures of Wade.
That's
and
right,
Terry.
too. And Terry.
And then he tosses it in the river. That is important to note.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Johnny comes up and he introduces himself to everybody. And then he's like, Gail. And Gail's like, who the fuck are you? And it's like, you used to put me to bed before 9. And we find out that she was friends with his older brothers. They were all guides. And he is a ranger in the park. And she used to babysit him. And then Wade says something racist to him because apparently Benjamin Bratt is playing in a Native American, which valid, I'm sure, somewhere in his lineage, because I think don't know where his family's from, but I think it's South America. Anywho, so he says something kind of racist. Benjamin Bratt's Johnny is like, that's a little off, but y'all are good. Okay, bye. And then he goes off in his canoe again.
Yeah. And then he does say, did anyone drop a camera? Oh no, that's later.
No,
Is that
that's later. That's later.
Right. Okay, so the Hartmans are forced down the river at gunpoint before setting up camp for the night. During the night, Tom tries and fails to wrestle the gun away from Terry. Tom runs into the river with Wade chasing him, but he escapes. Wade lies, telling Gail and Rourke that Tom is dead. Oh, the amount of detail on the Sandlot. Fuck. Okay, Tom is actually trying to escape. He climbs up the rocks. Wade spots him, shoots at him, realizes it's a bad angle, and he's like, Tom, wait right there. I need a better angle. Taunting him. Shoots, slips himself, and starts to fall, and because he can't swim.
Yes.
We should point out that he did fall into the water earlier, and Tom had to save him. But
he was working real hard to drown Tom.
Yeah, but I think
that's how I read that scene. I read that no, because it was very. It was.
Oh, you think it was?
It almost seemed very purposeful that he was pulling him down. Yeah. Now, normally, when someone is drowning, and you start getting pulled down by them, it's because they're trying to climb up you.
Yeah.
So, but the way he did, he kept dropping down and pulling him down until Tom punches him in the face, and it dazes him enough that he can pull him up. But usually, and this is why they say that if you're not a strong swimmer, or if you're not trained as a lifeguard, you shouldn't try to save a drowning person because they're panicking. So they'll try to climb on top of you and push you down in the process of getting up.
Yeah.
Wade was literally like grabbing Tom and pulling him down from like dropping himself lower and pulling him down. So I was like, he's trying to kill Tom. But then Tom punched him.
Yeah. I would never try to save a drowning person.
I could not. Like, don't get me wrong. In a pool, sure. I could try. In the ocean or in a river with a fast current, I'm going to drown too. And it would not be safe for anybody.
But when Wade shoots, he slips into the water and he's not paying attention. And Tom actually falls into the river. Wade actually thinks he killed him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't see him come back up.
No.
So he's like, oh, yeah, no, he's dead. Because apparently Wade doesn't know that a dead body floats if you don't weight them down.
So Tom spends the night on the rocks. I'm like, what is he doing? But I guess there was really nowhere to go but down into the river.
Because they make it abundantly clear throughout this entire movie that you can't just walk out of there. Like earlier on, you could, but further down the river, you can't just walk out of there.
Yeah. The next day, they run into the ranger. It says a ranger. So the first time Wikipedia mentions Johnny, who knows that Gail intends to run the gauntlet and warns her not to. Wade shoots him and throws his body into the rapids. Yeah, this is where he says, does anyone lose a camera? And he's like, yeah, throw that over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they said, wow, why? Wade's like, why don't you just let us go? You didn't see us. And then he's like, no, can't do it. And then shoots him.
Yeah, because apparently Bridal whatever, I keep on calling Bridal Path, but that's an area in Toronto. Anyways, the Bridal Junction is the last place you can get off.
Yeah, because we actually see people doing that.
Yeah. So that's where they can kind of, so if you go any further than that, there's no way to walk out of there and you have to run the gauntlet to get out.
Yeah.
And nobody is allowed to do the gauntlet anymore. Ranger Johnny tells us that. And we appreciate him telling us that, but that also gets him shot because he's like, I'm going to have to call in a copter. And Wade's all like, that's not going to fucking work.
Nope.
Shoots him. Like tosses him in the water. I'm like, Johnny. No.
What I also loved about this movie and Kevin Bacon's character is that they didn't try to make him sympathetic to the kid because he had that bonding with the kid. As soon as things did not go his way, Kevin Bacon's character didn't give a fuck about that kid.
Did not give a fuck about
bitch slapped him and told him that he's going to kill his mom. He's going to shut up. And
yeah. I mean, I appreciate that where he's very much. And you can see Terry has moments of, are we supposed to be doing this? Are we?
Yeah.
I don't think this is a good idea.
Because he even said, like, you promised no one was going to get hurt and killed that guy, and now we're killing it.
And Wade's like, meh.
Yeah.
Got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, he gives them, like, he hands over, like, the gun towards him, and he's like, well, if you want to start calling the shots, be my guest.
Terry's like, no, thank you.
No. Unbeknownst to anyone, Tom, who finds Maggie, is racing on foot along the canyon rim to get ahead of the raft. After a harrowing ride, the group makes it through the gauntlet. Okay, this is a bit unfair. I know there's not a lot story-wise. They go in the gauntlet, they make it. But this was a great scene, and it was a very long scene. But it was very well done.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
I felt like a tightness in my chest watching it. Because you see that boat like bouncing and hitting water and excuse me, you see them working to like keep control of the oars and keep control of the raft. And I'm just like, and the way that boat was bouncing, I was like, that kid is going to go flying. Oh, wait, the kid's tied to the boat. Oh, God, if that boat flips. Like it was a very, especially the way it was shot. There were a lot of close shots. You hear Gail's voice through it, like giving instructions.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the instructions didn't always match what they were doing. So that took me out of it a little bit. But if you just watch it, it's harrowing and it like filled me with anxiety because it was like, oh shit.
When they did the long shots and I'm looking at it going, oh, that's not bad. And then they started doing the close-ups and you see the hard hits that it takes.
Yeah, the angles that the boat's going.
Yeah, and them having the pool that you could get just they when they got in that pool and Terry fell out, all the pool did was just start spinning them around and around and around the rocks. Yeah, and I loved that each level or part of the river gets better and more harrowing, and it looks great. Like, warning, you will notice that people in the more harrowing parts don't exactly look like Kevin Bacon or John C. Reilly. It's pretty clear, but it's a great part of the movie, like the penultimate scene of the movie.
It's funny though, because when they first got through their first like kind of whitewater area, the guys are like, "Woo, we made it by," and she starts laughing, and she was like,
"That was the easy part.
That was nothing. That was Little Niagara. That was not the Gauntlet. That was Little Niagara. That's nothing. It's coming." And they're like, "Oh." And I think at that point, Wade starts questioning his like decision making.
Yeah,
he was like, "This sounded so easy when Frank was saying, we'll just run the gauntlet."
Yep. Yeah. No, and it did. It really did look good. It was really fun to watch. Yeah. Tom reappears and flips the raft. As he struggles with Terry, Gail is able to get the gun. A lot actually happens in this scene.
Yes. Tom makes it ahead of the raft.
Yeah.
He finds an abandoned mine that has all of the accoutrements that you need when you're mining, including cables going across so that you can ferry things across. So he starts to jerry-rig a fucking trap, I guess, to like stop the boat and possibly overturn it, because he also knows the only two people who are not tied to the boat are the two criminals. So he knows if he just like bounces it, I guess, or like shakes it, they're bound to fall off, but his wife and kid will still be in the boat. And I thought that was genius.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was a lot of the gun goes flying out of the hands. Yep. She has to struggle to get to. Yeah, there's a lot more than just.
There's a struggle. There's a fight. Eventually, Tom gets in the water, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And he fights Terry.
Yeah.
And they're going at it. Gail manages to knock Wade out, or knock the gun out of his hand first. And you can see it in the water because the water is so clear. Yeah. It is so pretty. I was like, I would totally have a picnic in this area. It's gorgeous. And then Wade's trying to get back in the boat and to fight Gail. And then Tom takes out a knife, Terry takes out a knife and threatens Tom. Somehow Gail gets the gun. I don't remember how she gets the gun.
Well, I think Tom and Wade are actually fighting a bit, and Terry tries to get in, and he gets the oar in the arm, and she busts open his arm. Like, that looked bleeding. Like it fucking hurt. And then she's able to get the gun. She points it, and then this is where Wade says, "You could just let us go. I wasn't going to actually kill you guys. I was just going to get here, and off I go." And then she goes to I don't know why she shot up in the air.
I think probably to alert people to where they are, or to get rid of the one bullet, to be like, well, then nobody can shoot anybody.
And then he was kind of like, oh, I thought there was a bullet in it too.
Because she shoots it, pulls the trigger and nothing.
It's just in the wrong.
Yeah. But he does do this whole, like, you're going to ask if you kill me, you're going to ask yourself if you really had to kill me. Yeah. Can you live with that? And he was playing on her, like, I'm a good person vibes.
And she kind of bought it.
She totally did. I would have been like, fuck yeah, I can live with it, and shot him in the head.
I was wondering if her husband was like, you dumb bitch.
The husband had a knife pointed at him by Terry, the fool. And I was like, oh, God. And I'm sure Tom is sitting there going, shoot him.
Yeah,
shoot
just
him.
Fucking shoot him.
And then she's like, but you made me giggle. So she goes to shoot in the air. It clicks. There's nothing. And he's like, yeah, I thought there was one too. He pulls back the knife, I guess, to like cut the raft or whatever, or to jump in there and stab her, whatever. She figures out, since it's a revolver, she can see where the one bullet is.
Yeah.
So she moves it, and she's like, guess what? There is a bullet. She shot him. My favorite part of the entire movie, Kevin Bacon's face.
Yeah.
After he gets shot. Then he's floating, and I thought he was dead, and his death face was hilarious. And then I realized, oh my God, no, he's not dead. And then the face he makes as he's dying while holding on to.
Oh, when he's holding on to the money?
On it, Yeah, he's holding onto the back, and then he's like floating on his back, and then he has this like weird face where it's like kind of contorted in pain, but not really. And then like his eyes are super wide. It's fucking hilarious. And then he keeps and then he stops himself and he holds on to like a rock to like stop his flow. And his face is pressed up against the rock, and he's all like, "Ugh." He's making a face, and it's fucking hilarious. And I was like, this is magic, because that director, okay, Curtis Hanson, fucking sat there and said, yes, that's the face I want. Thank you, Curtis Hanson. You were my fucking hero. Favorite part of the entire movie.
So she shoots and kills Wade while Tom subdues Terry. A helicopter with rangers aboard arrive, and they arrest Terry. Yeah, Terry just seemed to give up. Like, he didn't jump in the river and say, see us. She only had one bullet. I'm gonna go swimming. I'll take my chances down the river. Gail and Tom share a kiss by the rapids. The film ends with the Hartmans in an embrace. And this is the part where the ranger or cop is asking Rourke what happened, and it was so bad.
So
it was so and you're like, oh, really?
Where was it? My thing was, I actually wrote this. Why are the parents not with the kid while he's talking to the ranger?
Yeah.
Like, why are they off to the side wrapped in blankets, just having a lovely conversation in front of the sunset? And the kid is alone talking to the ranger as the ranger's asking him what happened.
Yeah, it's not like the kid will be traumatized or anything.
Yeah. Also, it's not like he's a minor or anything and he needs to actually be with a parent or guardian.
Yeah. And then the quad, like, what happened here? What was your dad doing? My dad saved that. I'm like, oh, fuck, I wish you drowned. And that is our movie.
Yar.
What is your score for The River Wild?
I say rent it, because I rented it and I'm not mad about it. I paid a very lovely $4.99 for it, and I'm not mad. It is a good movie. It is not revolutionary. It does not create any new standards for cinema. It's entertaining. The one thing I will say is Meryl Streep, there are certain scenes where you're like, oh, you're feeling too prim and proper for this character.
Oh, when she says, try my love.
Yeah, like there are certain things where I'm like,
shut up, Meryl Streep.
You're giving aristocracy when you should be giving I grew up in Idaho. You know what I mean? So I'm like, there's that kind of disconnect in a few moments. However, when she's on the raft, when she's doing those scenes, it feels natural.
Yep.
And I love that. And I think the scenes outside of the raft could have used a little bit of work in some places for her, but she's still Meryl Streep. It's still a great performance. It just was incongruous with the character itself. But overall, Kevin Bacon is a great villain. Terry is a great, or John C. Reilly is a really, really great kind of
sidekick,
stupid sidekick.
Yeah.
Who's just kind of along for the ride and hoping someone's going to take care of him. Yeah. David Strathairn does a great, like, husband who's trying his best but is failing but still wants to try. The kid's really fucking annoying. Joseph Mazzello, I appreciate you as an actor, but I kind of wanted to punch you as Rourke. Like, and I get that because I mean he's an obnoxious like 9 or 10-year-old, so I'm like, good for you. But overall, and the script was well written, so you knew why they could sign. So that was how the dad and the son communicated. You knew why she was so good on the river. You knew that they were having problems, and it was done through conversations, and it was done through, like, nobody actually says, I think my marriage might be over, until she's already in Idaho. And then the mom says something ignorant, but whatever. But overall, it was an entertaining movie. There were some very anxiety-inducing moments. I was very sad for Ranger Johnny, and I was like, do they find his body? Is he okay? Did he survive? I mean, yes, he got shot in the upper chest, but maybe he survived. So there were some things where I was like it evoked feelings. And at the same time, beautifully shot. And very entertaining when they were on the river. So rent it. What's your score?
My score. The River Wild brings nothing new to the table, even in 1994. In fact, you can pretty much connect the dots before the movie hits the 20-minute mark. I think that is when we're introduced to Kevin Bacon, and you pretty much can guess what's going to happen. Not just because you've probably already seen it, it's just that easy to predict. But because of its stellar cast, minus Meryl Streep, and like you said, for the most part, she was fine. But there were some parts in there where you're like, you don't fit this character at all. But for the most part, the cast is great. HD or UHD, the look of this movie, I rented it as well. It really is beautiful. And the actual river rafting itself, it is bumped up from average. This really could have been a dud, but a cast and crew elevated this movie to a really enjoyable, almost 2 hours. Kevin Bacon was great as the psychopath. He really did help it deliver. And again, everyone else, you can't put a price on talent. I believe them. Like they were a couple with marital problems. The ending almost blew it. The very, very ending, Terry just giving up in defeat and the ridiculous cop questions and then them getting back together. I mean, this was seriously Jesus Christ. But yeah, I say this is a rental for all its little complaints. Overall, it's a good thriller movie. It's fine. It's very fun to watch. I enjoyed it. Will I watch it again? I don't know. Maybe not anytime soon, but
I just want you to watch the end after Kevin Bacon gets shot, please, and look at his face.
Well, I still got, I think, 24 more hours. So
look at his face.
No, this was worth the rental. I paid a rental price. I'm not mad. I enjoyed it. It was fine. Yeah, it's worth the rental.
It's a good standard run-of-the-mill thriller movie.
Yep.
And it's funny because when you were talking, I finally realized the word that I really wanted to put on Meryl Streep. It was theatrical, like in the theater, as opposed to I'm just a girl from Idaho who grew up on the rivers, you know? So there were certain moments where she was a little more theatrical and she carried herself like a theater actress doing a classic like Ibsen play or something like that. Like it felt very formal.
Yeah.
And that kind of took you out because you're like, I don't play like that. Not especially if you grew up being a whitewater rafting and a guide there and you grew up in a rural area.
Yeah.
You're not giving that vibe. But she's still Meryl Streep. It was still a great performance. I am totally going to rewind and watch the last little bit just for Kevin Bacon's. I'm telling you right now, Kevin Bacon's face after he gets shot makes the fucking movie.
All right, well, I'm gonna go back and watch it again. Yeah, so that's 2 rent-its for our second feature of our drive-in, The River Wild. Next week we are going to be watching Smokey and the Bandit from 1977 or 72.
That feels right.
Yeah,
hold on.
It's in the 70s. Yeah, we're leaving the 90s.
77.
77 and Rollerball with James Caan, 1975. Damn. So we are out of the 90s into the 70s with a double feature. So thanks for coming back to watch The Sandlot and The River Wild. And until the next movie we remember liking.
Congratulations. You just had one of your childhood movie memories vindicated. Or they just eviscerated it. I don't know. This is a generic one-size-fits-all type of ending to the podcast. So thank you for listening, and please join Anna and Jimmy next time for another episode of the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you dare to go back and watch that movie you remember liking,